Who is the strongest Lycanite dragon? We'll be summoning a Cockatrice and see how he fares against a Quetzodracl. Quetzodracl has the advantage in health, but the Cockatrice has a paralyzing effect. Both seem to be ranging at around 50% of their health. Considering that the Quetzodracl starts with more health, the Cockatrice seems to be on the losing side. Okay, they seem to have calmed down for a second there. And the Quetzodracl wins with an extra 25% health. I would not have expected it since, well, yes, Cockatrices are meant for combat, but I guess it's more of a support summon thanks to their paralyzing effect. Next up we have the most infamous of all dragons, the Ignibus. And you can safely assume why. Against our previous champion, the Quetzodracl. How will they fare? I do not know. Okay, there you go. Let's see how they're faring in health. Ignibus is at 80% health at the time of defeat, almost untouched. How will an Ignibus fare against our previous contender, Cockatrice? Ignibus, mostly relying on ranged attacks, does not care about any paralyzing effect, and this does not seem to affect his damage output in the slightest. Ignibus winning with only 4% damage taken. Do need to consider that he has 440 health, which is insane, almost as much as a stage 5 dragon. Now the fact that the Ignibus is going to win against any challenger is fairly certain. %8 damage is a fair amount, considering the previous contender. And lastly, Zotaur, with 100 health. How will he fare against a 400 health Ignibus? I have a feeling that he can't even reach him. Zotaur mostly focusing exclusively in defense. It was a poor call when fighting against fire. Despite parrying, Zotaur's health is being chipped away in a matter of seconds. Now safe to assume that the Ignibus is completely unchallenged as the strongest Lycanite dragon. So between Quetzodracl and Cockatrice, the Cockatrice loses, but can he win against a Morock? Once again, the Cockatrice is at a health disadvantage, and being in a melee fight, paralysis isn't particularly helpful. Cockatrice is already down to 87% health, and the Morock barely touched at 98, despite its tamed privileges of occasionally healing. Cockatrice has clearly lost this fight. Cockatrice once again, but against the weakest. This time assuming maybe it's the Cockatrice, who knows? Lycanite's dragon, the Remobra. I'm fairly astonished considering that he lost 7% of his health. Now back at full health, can the Cockatrice win against 10 Remobras? It's actually 11, there's a little baby in there as well. Okay, he got distracted. And that distraction is probably going to cost the Cockatrice his life, for he's only at... yeah, there against the last contender with 0.1 health. And considering that the Cockatrice has tamed advantages of having a small periodic healing of 1 health point. Incredible, the Cockatrice is truly disappointing, but I guess the paralysis effect is the selling point. Now let's see in more detail what the Quetzodracl can pull off. Seeing that it can win against a match the Cockatrice, but can it win against a Morock? It's a very close battle, as in they're both sticking their faces against each other. Morock has a slight health advantage. But the Quetzodracl is healing. Looking at it, the Morock is actually taking no damage at all. The Quetzodracl is barely. Morock is definitely dominating this battle. Zotaur barely able to keep up. Morock still only having received a fraction of damage. Almost makes you believe that it's the Morock the one that's healing. In reality it's the Quetzodracl. What amazes me is that the Morock is not taking any damage whatsoever. The Quetzodracl just unable to penetrate the Morock's defenses. What a battle. Now just to be proper, we need to make this last battle, Zotaur and Cockatrice, to see who will be the victor. Hopefully the Zotaur isn't going to make this battle prolong too much by simply parrying all the time. I don't know why that would ever be an effective strategy for battle. It just doesn't make much sense. Zotaur was winning earlier, but now since he's closed himself to strictly defending. Oh. As long as they're actually fighting, the Zotaur has the upper hand. When it comes to defending, it's just a battle of attrition where he isn't even counterattacking. Who even came up with this idea? Why would the dragon... Why? Just why? At least make it deal damage or something. Yeah, enough time has passed. It only takes the Zotaur one bite to take off 4% of the Cockatrice's health. But if he simply refuses to bite, then I don't really see how this fight can actually progress any further. The comeback of the century. Finally, the Zotaur is going to have his comeback. Decided to stop defending and actually bite the opponent. Definitely an enlightening strategy. Who would have thought that simply sitting there and taking damage was a bad idea? The Zotaurs managed to beat the Cockatrice, effectively making the Cockatrice the weakest out of all Lycanite's dragons, excluding the Remobra, since, I mean, it's a little dragon. A very nice little dragon. Having deemed the Cockatrice as the weakest, and also losing against 10.5 Remobras. Let's see how the rest can compete with a group of Remobras. The Morock, the second strongest Lycanite's dragon. Let's see how it can handle 30 Remobras. "30 Remobras, 2 with colored variants. Who will win?" Considering all the friendly fire, the Morock actually has a decent chance. The sheer amount. You guys prefer a cinematic view without actually seeing health bars, or do you prefer actual statistics? From the looks of it, the Morock has won this battle, mostly due to excessive Remobra friendly fire. Makes you wonder just how could the Cockatrice actually... Oh! The Morock is actually struggling. With only 24% health. Incredible. I'm going to assume he got stuck though, so I'm gonna give him a nudge maybe. Sheer willpower. The Remobra poison is incredible, but 30 Remobras were not enough to beat a Morock. And to think that 10 were sufficient to defeat a Cockatrice. Wasn't actually 30, it was 28. Two of them slacked off. It's unfortunate. Actually, don't follow. They seem to be more intelligent when they're following. Maybe this Morock isn't feeling particularly intelligent. Okay, the victory to the Remobra. The victory? Okay. I guess yes, they would have definitely won without if it weren't for all the friendly fire. But now, the actual challenge. We know that the Ignibus is clearly the strongest of all the Lycanites dragons, but can it actually beat a ice and fire dragon? Remains to be seen. This is a stage 4 fire dragon. How will it fare against an Ignibus? Ignibus takes the lead. The fire dragon doesn't seem to be very responsive. Could be due to its poor turning ability. He's not even reacting. It is completely ignoring it and even trying to go to sleep. Do dragons simply not attack? Maybe fire dragons are too kind to fight another fire type dragon. But will the ice dragon be any different? Apparently not. Dragons refuse to fight the Ignibus. So overall, ice and fire dragons aside, first place goes to the Ignibus, second to the Morock, third to the Quetzodracl and Zotaur, And then the Cockatrice. Last probably goes to the Remobra, but they're summons, so I don't know how much that would count. Cockatrices would definitely fare better when assisting you, since the paralysis effect is actually going to be useful. In a 1v1 situation it's basically useless, so yeah, that's probably why they're basically at the bottom. If you have any combat suggestions, let me know. The Ignibus versus Fire Dragon happened to be one, but well, Zotaur was rather disappointing. Anyway, thanks for watching, bye.